Blessings and good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time in the day you're listening to this wonderful podcast. I am your host, the one and only Mr. LP of Enliven Global Media, and thank you for joining our podcast today. We are all over the place of the globe. We're in cars, we're in houses, we're on planes, everything. So forgive us if everything sounds a little bit off and on, but we're going to make it work. You know how when you try to do something good, the devil is always trying to stop us, and we ain't trying to have that today. So we're going to make it work. Thank y'all so very much for joining our podcast for today, and we're going to make it happen. Um, we got to bleed on one of your sounds, and we're going to, I think we got, yeah, okay, sorry. We got, I think it maybe you, Miss Silk. Sorry about that. So we're going to, make it work today, how everything goes. So first and foremost, let me do some introductions. And first, Miss Kmonta, we are going to introduce you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is. Sorry, I apologize. I didn't know that ringer was going to come on. My name is formerly Kmonta, Big Beautiful, Definitely Loving It of Power 92.1 Jams. Also of Kiss 101.7 in Delaware, WRNB 100.3 in Philly, Magic 95.9 in Baltimore,
Hold,
WDEL.
hold, hold on one second, Miss.
Okay.
Okay, Miss Kmonta, please forgive me. Are you broadcasting? Are you playing again on another screen?
I shouldn't be. I should just only be on one screen. Am I on two screens?
Because I got a feedback from somewhere.
Okay, let's see. How about now? I should be only be on one screen.
Hmm. Yeah, it's coming from your end.
It's coming from my
Okay,
end.
still coming in. You may be logged in. Let me double check here.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay, it's not you. I found the problem. Just give me a half a second here. We found the issue here. We're
Okay.
going to make it work. So we apologize about
You okay?
that. So we please forgive everybody. We're going to make it work for that. So sorry about
Hey,
that.
Mika.
Okay, so we got the bleed done.
Hey, Miss Silk.
Sorry,
Hey.
everybody, for the technical issues. So, Miss Kimanta, can you go ahead and say your introduction again one more time for me, please?
Okay. Well, again, my name is Kay Monte, and I am a former radio personality. I'm a multimedia personality with Power 92.1 Jams again. Been up and down the East Coast doing radio. I'm an MC as well. I hold a degree in behavioral science. I'm a social worker slash qualified mental health provider. I'm all over the place, but my passion is just people in general, and I love talking to people. I love having conversations, whether they are good conversations or bad conversations. There's still conversation, and as long as you keep communicating, you can keep moving forward in life. That's how I feel. So, hi.
All right. Cool. Thank you. And the lovely Miss Ross Silk, can you join us and tell us a little bit about yourself in introduction? Oh,
Ooh, my
can you
mic
hear
keeps
us?
going off. I'm back. This is author Tracy Harding Scott, better known as Ross Silk. I am an award winning author, orator, motivational speaker, and most important to me is community actionist.
All
And I
right.
am looking forward to always dialoguing with everyone here and happy to see it.
No problem. I appreciate it. And definitely not least, Miss Queen Anica Walston. How are you doing?
I'm well. I am author Nico Walston, and I'm a licensed mental health provider, and I work in the community with mental health.
Okay, that's not a problem. We got all these helpful with mental health and community people on here, and just for perfect for today's show. I was gonna make Miss Walston host this one, but I said I'm gonna be be nice on this one. Well, today, as we all know, we're dealing with the fallout from the election, and now also dealing with we got two things we're going to discuss today. You know, what things we can do to improve and protect ourselves, and also discuss these cabinet picks. And it's just a shame that when we have so many qualified people all around the world, you don't even have to be somebody famous. Just many people, even the people here on this panel, these lovely queens, that are more qualified for half these positions than the people that they are. But because somebody is a popular TV host, somebody is a popular sports entertainer from wrestling, whatever the situation may be, people feel comfortable in feeling that they're qualified. And it's sad. And you know that a lot of these positions were given because of money. They were given to their campaign, made some other promises, and they have some other deep agendas that are not yet be revealed. And we pray that uh, whatever they may have in store is not going to damage to any further. Hopefully, none at all. But we've seen how things are, and usually after the fact, we have to spend 3 to 4, 8 years fixing it before, and then once it's together, they want to kick us out and let us tear it again. Those who are trying to do right by us. So we have a lot of issues going on today. I'm going to open up the floor. I'm going to go over some of the cabinet positions. First and foremost, if anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to comment during the show. After the show, we read everybody's comments. It doesn't matter if you agree or disagree. We're here for the service to community, and we always try to provide correct information here and support. And as always, if anybody needs any questions in terms of mental health, social issues, anything else in terms of resources, please always reach out to us because we always have great people here that's willing to give it to us, and we'll always and just post your email and we'll get it to you. First and foremost, I'm going to start with our guest, Miss Kmonta. Kim, I'm saying the name wrong. Please forgive me. Kmonta. Kmonta. Sorry, I get it together.
You're okay.
Please tell us, quickly your thoughts regarding some of the overall thoughts. And we're going to dive down individually, but please share us your overall thoughts.
So I will say that the day after the election, really the night of the election, I was very perplexed and very upset because it took 4 years ago. It took a couple of days, almost a week, to count the votes. And before I could go to bed that night, you're telling me that Donald Trump is our president. And he swung so many swing states that I didn't understand what was going on. And so when I woke up the next morning, I just had this fog over me. Not only as just a black woman, but a woman, period. Because at the end of the day, uh, we have a lot at stake as being women that are getting ready to it's getting ready to expose some things that if you didn't understand it when he was president um, 4 years ago, you're gonna understand it now. And these cabinet picks that he is making, um, it truly is very frustrating. It's heartbreaking because you don't have anyone who really truly, I feel like, has an agenda that is for the people, by the people. It's for them. It's by them. Um, a person that really stands out on this panel that he has chosen is Russ Vaught, who was a contributing writer of the Project 2025. That's disheartening and concerning for me. Linda McMahon, who, I mean, the, the state of where education is right now is really mind blowing. our children are not even learning how to write in cursive, and there's a difference between print and signature. And they're taking books and history out of education, and he wants to put education back to the states. Is I think that's the quote he's saying. But our children are in danger of learning. Um, I just think that overall, um, we are we cannot let him get to the White House. I know that he's they say he won, but I really need I really need people to really step up, who need to step up if they can, and make this not happen, because this is getting ready to be a big change, and I don't know if America can actually bounce back from this change, or if we will ever bounce back from this change. Um, I saw a
Gotcha.
clip from Snoop Dogg the other day, and he said that when Obama was in office, that we grew to with the feeling of working together, and with now understanding that working together meant that that was including us. And when I say us, I mean people of color. And as he said it, and I don't want to say it in a undignified way. He said, but we had some basketball and some barbecue going on in the White House. You know, we had some good times going on in the White House. We was working together in the White House, and they don't want that. It was now because see what's gonna happen is they're gonna start looking out for them, and they want to make it America great again, make it white again.
Mm.
So you know,
I
yeah.
understand. Definitely understand. Go from there. Okay. Let Silk. Let's you get you in. Here, Miss Silk. Mm.
Hello. So,
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me
Okay.
now? So for
Yes,
me,
ma'am.
the day after and even today, I'm still in mourning. Okay, I feel like death. Um, it's not a good feeling, but I have to be honest and say that I am one of those people that good is sitting on one shoulder and evil is sitting on the other. And what I mean by that is this is what you get. That's how I feel. This is what you get. I think that what they thought was going to be for our bad is going to be for their bad. I think that when you elect a clown, you get a circus. Okay. And this is exactly what you got. Um, I think that they made it okay for him to make a mockery of this country, the whole political process, what DC stood for. You know, when we took our kids to the nation's capital and, explain things and, coming from the background that I come from, Masonic wise, you see DC with a third eye. And it is just unbelievable. And so I'm not surprised. I would like to say that I'm shocked, but I'm not, because racism is embedded in the DNA of what America is. It's not going to change. And so I think that Donald Trump, and those of us that are from up north knows him well. Donald Trump is so crafty and shisty, right? That I honestly believe that he gave them the okey doke. I honestly believe, because Donald Trump is not for anyone but Donald Trump. Okay. And the betterment of Donald Trump. Okay, he means no good to anybody. He has literally took a process and dismantled it and destroyed it. And where do you go from here? Like, the fact that, like the Queen said, if he never makes it to office, if he never does, the fact that America said that it was okay for him to even run for office, to even be on the ballot, okay, the fact that Kamala had to dignify herself to debate this idiot, it just is mind boggling to me. Um, we talked, and Queen Kmonta, we had a conversation last week where we talked about where we all remembered when they tried to hang Barack Obama for wearing a beige suit.
Yep.
Okay, just a beige suit.
Mhm.
And this idiot, like every time he makes an announcement, I posted yesterday that pedophiles are going to be running the nation. Like, it's not by happenstance that pretty much everyone that he has tapped for his cabinet had some form of pedophilia in their background, including Miss McMahon, whose husband is not exempt. This is just unbelievable to me. So I can't say I can say that I'm hurt. I'm hurt by the comments and the derogatory things that was said about Kamala through this whole process.
Yes.
I am hurt that America hates women and black women so much that they would rather put this up forward than to do what's right. I hurt because I have a granddaughter, right? That we teach our children that you can be anything that you want to be. But then America once again shows his ass and go, that's not true if you're black. That doesn't apply to you.
Definitely.
Okay? If you're black, you can only be what we want you to be and what we allow you to be. I'm angry because the Democrats have no balls and cojones to do what's right. Okay, because Biden is still the president of the United States. If they really wanted to do the right thing, he would step out of office, he would swear Kamala in and let her be the president for the rest of this term, and that would really piss Donald Trump off. Number one, and it would hurt them in their pockets. Um, I'm hurt because even as we speak today, black people just don't get it, and they will. They thought that Project 2025 was a conspiracy theory. They thought that Donald Trump was going to look after him because the masses going to give us another stimulus check and they're going to come out on top of this. They are going to learn that this is not a game. It was not a dress rehearsal. And now they better buckle up and be prepared because we have not even begun to experience the things that this idiot in his cabinet is planning on doing.
The hammer is coming. Miss Walston, you have a perspective, not unique but powerful. Not as you, I'm sorry, let me put it this way: to you personally, but is also coming from a different window. Please share.
I don't technically know if it's different, but I think a lot of
Oh, did
times
I
we're
lose you,
so.
Miss Walston?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Sorry.
Okay. I think one of the problems is that we are so polite about what this actually is. Okay. And I think we pretend and we bay over and we want to just say that this is a Trump effect, right? But sometimes you got to know that sometimes the distraction is just so that the evil can be done while the distraction is being paid attention to. So Trump actually has no power. He's just this figure. And your Mitch McConnells and all these people that were in Congress and all these Elon Musk and all these other people that actually hold the money and the power and the knowledge to do the damage are the people who we should have actually been paying attention to. Trump can't write a sentence, so he could not have written Project 2025. They just needed him to agree with it. It it's disheartening for me as a woman who
Mhm.
grew up and was raised by black women. And my father was also in the house. That America hates black women. I say that strongly because there is nothing in this world that can come unless a black woman started it. Period. There is not a person, a creature, anything that did not come from a black woman. So I said it last week, and I'm gonna say it again. It's very disheartening as a mother to know that your children hate their mother, that this country hates their mother. And what's even more sickening to me is that not only do we think it's a show, it's not a show. They just want this land back the way they think they should have had it. They stole it from the Native Americans. They've stolen areas from Mexico. They've stolen everything that they've gotten down to our identity so much that we don't even have one. Okay. I asked somebody the other day, I said, I watched the Mori do the Haku and their Congress and the parliament. And I said, Jewish people have something that they do. White people, I'm sure, have something that they do. All different cultures. What do we do? What do we do to stand up and show that we are one? Because everything that we have, somebody's even taken pieces of it, and we have nothing. We don't have a Haku to stand up to. We don't even have people that understand the importance of who we are. We don't even have enough Black women to understand the powers that they possess. And then we get mad at this country because their country is being truthful to who they are. They've been the same. They've always been racist. Obama, yes, we had an Obama, but you know what? We got the Trump because of the Obama. Not Trump. The people who hated Obama so much created this Trump. They let him come in. He won the primaries. How do you win the primaries with that record? How do you win the primaries grabbing women's body parts? How are you able to continue on with 34 felony counts and most Black people can't get a job with a felon as a felon? So this is not just the Trump effect. It is the good old white boy from wherever he is and the good old white girls who follow their good old white men, period. And guess what? Some of them are part of the Democrats. And they pretended because they didn't want her either. Because they know that in the hands of a Black, powerful woman, that we are going to do things differently. You're scared of us. And I'm okay with saying that. You're just scared. So all of this cabinet pick, who cares? Because they're going to do what they want. They will blow this place up if they feel like it. But you know what? I stand 10 toes down because I serve a good God. And I'm going to be okay. That's my stance on that.
Amen. We got amen. We gotta as a stance for this show, I agree with you. As a stance, and one of our hallmark is that we provide information, whether we agree with it or not. We let people know what's going on out there because it's going to affect us all.
Mm-hmm.
The only things, and each of these cabinets got, for certain things, you have committees, you have groups, and people need to be aware that you still have a voice, even in this situation. Silk can tell you we went to the confirmation of the counting of the electoral votes here in Virginia when Hillary was elected, and just to be part of the process, to be there, things like that. You can always request to attend. And actually, you can still, in some of the states, you can contact the electorals. Now, you want to be careful how you go about it. You don't want to get yourself in trouble and get yourself arrested. But we need to sit there and protest because the electors do not have to still give the vote towards the person. Now, there's not. Now, the game could be changed like what they did with Hillary. Some of the states end up giving it to Trump anyway, even though Hillary won the state part. So there's always controversy either way. He does not have to still get into office. Like you said, all of you said that, if you do the right thing. This is an ego also with white man with Biden, because he wanted to get in there so bad that if you wanted to do the right thing, you should have resigned before you should have stated that you're not rerunning again. And you would have been darn near 82. You're 82, just had a birthday, and you mean to tell me you'd be 86 years old if you ran again when in office? That's just not right. We're not here about ageism and hurt others towards their age, but right is right, wrong is wrong, and some things is just not there for it. Let's go over a couple of things just to be fair, and go over things. And we're going to responses. We're going to try to be short because there's a lot of them here. We already know that Gates withdrew from the Attorney General. What had came up was that there's been more allegations, second, if not more. They don't want to release the report, but it came out that there are more than another 16, 17-year-old girl that he supposedly had inappropriate actions with. and trafficking, alcohol, what have you. And to prevent that report coming out, they said they're not going to release it. You and I and everybody know that that report somehow, some way is going to get released. And Gates was in there in office. Trump would have had more trouble than what it's worth. So he apparently called him and told him to withdraw. Don't necessarily know if that really was the case, but he wants to maintain power. I feel that he gave him that role to help get back and be his lapdog. Now we don't know who's coming in, but there's that issue. Uh, what are your thoughts, each of y'all, for about 90 seconds? What are your thoughts regarding Gates and the Attorney General situation?
To be quite honest with you, the way I was raised was if you got in trouble, you did something wrong, you know, there's a thing called redemption, and there is a thing where you pay for your mistakes. You know, you pay your debt to society, or however you have to, you know, however that goes with what trouble has been brought upon you or that you brought upon yourself. But when you are in that forest, there's certain things that you can't do anymore. You've lost your rights to certain things. There's certain things that you can't be a part of. And I am appalled that I have a president who technically he's not my president as of yet. And I don't even think I ever would want to call him my president, but as a convicted felon, you can't even go into certain countries. You know, as a convicted felon, you're not even supposed to be able to get certain jobs. And if the president of the United States can be a convicted felon, then my God, I need you to take that question off of every applicant. Matter of fact, let's just unlock all the jails and all the prisons and just let everybody out. Just let everybody out.
That's what I said.
That's basically you got all your rapists, all your racists, all your whatever despicable you can say, they're right there in DC getting ready to take this country and show you what we really are made of. And it's not going to be made great again. It's gonna be made all over again. And for my black women out there, just real quickly, we were taught to hate one another. We were taught, as black people, we were taught to hate each other. And that's why we don't have a haiku, or we don't have something to stand on, because when we look at our sister, we don't look at her and say, oh, she's beautiful, or oh, let me help her. We look at her and we look down upon her. They made us frown upon each other because of the color of our skin, whether you were darker or you were lighter. So this is something that has been embedded in us, has been taught to us. And so we don't have that from a standpoint of knowing how to stick together, because they never gave us a chance, because we never had it. It was always a pit against one another. So that whole crab in a barrel syndrome, oh, that's something that I don't even know if we ever are going to be able to unify, because that's something that we have just been it's been with us since the beginning of time. I can't hear anybody.
You're muted.
You're
I'm sorry,
muted.
I was muted. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, everybody. Silk, what are your thoughts in 90
I
seconds?
I
Go ahead.
agree with what she said. You know, that's why I founded Restoration of the Queen, is for Black women to remember who they are and whose they are. The bottom line is that we one of our foundation things is hold your head high so your crown won't fall. Okay, and when you see another queen and her crown is slipping, you push that thing back up on her head. You don't let it fall and then dog her out. And so yes, and we talked about this, you Anika and I, when black women were saying she's not black enough, she's not, that she's locked up, it's just like always excuse. We are our own worst enemies. We can't get out of our own way. We tear each other apart. I said to my husband the other day, if we could have, just for this election, unified like how we did when 9/11 hit the United States and nobody seen color. We were all under attack. We didn't know where it was coming from initially. And so we all unified. And as a New Yorker, to see people from Bensonhurst and Howard Beach helping people from Bedford Stuyvesant and Brownsville, Brooklyn, if anybody that's from New York City knows, that was a major, a major thing. We were all just Americans at that time, right? And so we had to do what was right for each other. I, as somebody who has never pledged allegiance to the flag, nor sung the Star Spangled Banner, am now looking at my grandkids like that are forced to do that. No, we're not going to perpetrate this. This is the year of transparency for me. This is the year that we no longer sugarcoat things and try to make them feel like America is the land of the free and opportunity and it's so wonderful and it's so great, because it absolutely isn't. You know, my dad was my dad and my grandparents were high ranking in the military, okay? And I used to, Veterans Day, I would, just blow it up and post. Veterans Day hit differently for me this year because for the first time I sat and I was like, how in the hell do y'all sign up to defend a country that don't even respect you here? That you go and you fight a war that doesn't even belong to you, and then you come back and you homeless. You don't even have a roof over your head. You can't get treated with any ounce of respect or decency. Is mind blow. It's just mind boggling to me, and it's difficult for me because I don't want to outcast people that have been, I would say, decent to me and in order to me. But by the same token, now it's kind of like my Angela Davis is activated and I give no damns about nobody else. If your tan line don't look like mine right now, I don't have nothing for you. And I know that that might rub people the wrong way, but that's just how I'm feeling right now because, like Malcolm X say, you've been hoodwinked, you've been lied to, you've been bamboozled, right? So some of the people listening to the sound of my voice were part of that conspiracy, okay? By not voting, by going out and voting for Trump for God knows whatever. I heard one lady say, um, he supports my Christian values. And I'm like, okay, well, which one of those Christian values would that be? Okay. And then you hear someone says, well, at least he tells it like it is. And I'm like, which time? Because every time he opens his mouth, a lie or two or three or four falls out. And then the stupid one of make America great again. Well, when was America ever great, and great for who? What was that? When was that time? Take me to that place. Take me to that place of when America was absolutely great because you stole and raped and pilferaged every single thing that you got. It's funny how an oppressed people came here to escape oppression and then turned around and did the very same thing. And then, like they always do, once they can control you, they make savages out of you, right? So then the Indians, for protecting their shit, becomes savage beasts because now you come over here and you want to trample over or whatever and stuff. Let me come up to your door, Anika, and stick a flag in the middle of your damn living room and say that I discovered it just because I was lost and found my way there. It's just it blows my mind. And I think for me, I had to take a time out. I had to take a time out from social media. I had to take a time out from even conversations like this because I found my damn blood pressure started going up and I was so angry. I would find myself going from crying to being like ballistically pissed, like cursing like a sailor. And I was just like, I said to Anika one night when we was together, I said, you know something? There's loads of species of animals that we never got to see. Do you know why? And she said, why? I said, because they asked it make the ark. There's loads of Negroes that's not going to make the ark. They're not. They're going to drown in their own stupidity. And for me, I'm tired of trying to extend that hand and trying to teach you something and learn you something. You know, I used to tell my son that you like learning shit the hard way. I try to protect you and say, hey, don't step in that. That's a pile of crap. But you got to stomp all in it and get it all over your shoes before you go, oh, wow, mommy was right. That's a pile of crap. Well, strap your boots on, America, because the crap is getting ready to happen.
Indeed. We gotta just as a reminder, we gotta try also in responses. We try. I want to get to all the as many of these points and people as possible, and we want to get as many of these in. So that's why I was saying 90 seconds on each one, if all possible. Miss Walston.
Matt Gates is some trash. That's my response. I'm not about to be intellectually stimulating about some foolery. I'm not going to do that. He's some trash. He should have never made it as a pick. We know why he made it as a pick, because he's a lapdog. He's a lapdog who's under Trump. All that other stuff. Okay, let me be fair to you, Stephen, before you get to all of your points. Okay, everybody on that cabinet is there because of money or because there's some dirt on them that he's going to utilize against them later on. Mm-hmm. How in less than 48 hours was Melania's vagina on Russian TV? How was that? How did that happen? Okay. So you better know who's pulling the strings and what is happening. So all of his cabinet picks and all of my responses to them are some paid trash. That's it. And there's nothing that we're going to be able to do unless you're going to sit for the 4 years and you're going to stew in these juices and you're going to sit and see what it feels like until somebody stands up. And that's all. Plain and simple. Nobody cares. Guess what? Don't look for a response from me, because I'm not helping none of y'all. I'm going to do what I've been doing. I'm going to live the way I've been living. And I'm going to keep myself steadfast, faithful, and in prayer. And I'm going to move forward while these idiots continue to want to oppress people. It's about oppression, control. You don't control me. Matt Gates is some trash. There's your answer. 90 seconds.
No problem. I want to get a reason why, because there are people who just do not understand what each position does, really sadly. And they go. So just for those who don't know, the Attorney General, in short, is head of the Department of State, which they call pretty much the top cop, enforces federal laws, oversees federal prosecutors, and advises on legal matters. Mm-hmm. So there's that. Now, the second one of the issue, and there's tons of these positions. We're not going to hit them all, but for the next 30 minutes, we're going to try to hit a few of them. Pete Hegseth, who is the nominee for Secretary of Defense. The responsibility is leads the Department of Defense, which is basically a Pentagon and everything else. So from there, formulates military policies, oversees armed forces, and ensures national security. Now, for those of you who think this is a joke, anything and everything with military, defense spending, money, whatever, is all running through him. Mm-hmm. And there's already criticism. He's a Fox News host. And just now, don't get me wrong, anybody who serves, I'm not going to hate on them. And he was a National Guard. Thank you for service and everything else. Just because you served, I mean, like, look, I've cooked for a number of years in a restaurant. That does not mean I need to be the head of the Department of Health and Human Services. I mean, just be honest. Just because you serve something, that does not mean you automatically qualify. Someone may be a mother. That does not mean you need to be Mother Teresa in some situations. It just depends. A title, one does not beget the other or automatically qualify you. And he lacks significant administrative experience in large organizations. He's also been very outspoken about diversity initiatives in the military and has great concerns about his ability to lead in an inclusive defense department. And we have right now, it's been extreme strides have been made to try to get, obviously, women. They want to take women out of combat zones. They want to make sure, obviously, we all know that in the public sector and private sector and the military, there's been, unfortunately, a lot of rape of men and women. and that don't get reported. They just want to do away with that. And there's a lot of places where they don't want you to allow sue contractors working for the military. There's a lot with that. So, and all of us have, there's not a soul in America that does not have some form of tie to the military with family members. What are your thoughts regarding this? I'm going to work in reverse, and let Anika, you start off.
My son is a vet. My dad is one. Okay. Just because they serve does not make them prepared for that type of position. So understand that I don't care if he's a Fox News host if he was qualified. But again, we're talking about a position that was paid and promised. So you can do damage to get the things that you want out of it. So you're going to be in this position, gut it for vets that are not already getting the service that they need, and put in place controls so you can tell people what to do, how to do it while they serve in the military to help protect us. So that's another control issue. Okay. Not to mention all of these cabinet members have mental health issues. Period.
Okay, Silk, go right on ahead.
Trash. I'm gonna use Anika's thing. 90-second trash. I'm not even gonna. It doesn't even waste time entertaining having a conversation on all of these people. This is like a 3-ring circus, okay? And we already know who the ringleader is. Trash. Waste of time. Waste of time.
Um, my my sentiments exactly. I will say that my father served, and he gave almost 35 years of his life to the U.S. Army, and so for that, Veterans Day for me um, just hits about my father. There's so many people out there who um, who have family members or friends who serve, and no disrespect to any soldier, living or dead. Um, but I'll never let anyone take that power away from me to honor my king, my father, who played home and of course dealt with a lot of mental illness because of what he saw and what he went through. He was special forces. And so I just believe that this man is going to bring he's going to be the icing on the cake, and we're already at the cusp of being at war with several different countries. I don't want to speak it into existence, but I think war will be coming to our turf very, very soon if this cabinet, especially with him being the Secretary of Defense, if this moves forward. So I I fear this. I fear this right here.
I truly believe
Can I say
that
something real
something's going
quick?
to happen. I don't know what. Sure, please
Hey,
jump in.
the other thing to that point, to your point in your father serving, my father was drafted
Mm-hmm.
into the military where they didn't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
So if I fear anything, I would be concerned about that because I'm going to go ahead and tell you, my boys will have spurs.
Right.
Okay. That my father did not choose to go in the military, but he served willingly and he didn't foster any other thing other than to serve his country.
Right.
So that is a fear. That is a concern because if people don't conform to the way you want to, are you going to try to go back to the draft? Because
Right.
all boys at 18 have to sign up for selective service under this type of ignorance. So
My dad actually left home to take care of his family, and that was the only opportunity he saw fit at that time to do so. Um, so I get it both ways. I
absolutely,
definitely
I
get it both
do.
ways. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. And the reason why I hear you, Silk. The reason why I wanted to tackle a couple of these things for this exact reason. No disrespect for those who have done great things in the military. And me, I'm not the biggest believer in a lot of different things. I think it's for certain people. as a man that I don't believe I should have to, get in trouble, not go to college or get loans, whatever, because I don't want to select. I just don't. I have no desire for the military or anything else. Now, have I worked in the government? Yes, I worked at the Department of Defense. I worked for the State Department. I worked for directly in the Pentagon. I've done stuff with the Judge Supreme Court. I in a lot of fields in IT. I've seen what the military has done overseas, good and unfortunately a lot of bad. And the reason why I say this is because that this position, all these positions are very destructive. And with the Department of Defense getting the majority of our budget and things, it's something very serious. One of the issues that I have with this and what they're trying to do is like I don't think anybody in the government on either side think about certain things like when they took out signatures in school, we don't learn this, we don't do that anymore, all these different things. Now keep in mind, significant money number of these people are going to serve in the military. So now you're going into the military with people with less education than when they went in the 90s and back.
Mm-hmm.
You mean to tell me these kids are more educated in the 90s? And I'm not putting down anybody, but as time goes on, you expect more available in schools. Now you're dumbing down people, which going to now dumb down people available for the service. Now you have more and more young adults that can't pass the ASVAT test. They can't do this. You can do the draft all you want, but people are not mentally or intellectually qualified. And these are the people that you're putting and you're taking away the education. And now these people got to make these finite decisions of life and death and equipment that we're giving billions of dollars to and whatever. I don't think people understand that. To me, defense is not just the military and what we do in the war effort. Your roads, your education of your people, your health, that's all defense as well, but they don't see it that way. And how this could be a very destructive process for us. One of the other ones I want to go into in Homeland Security is going to be around the same thing. This is a very touchy one, and Robert Kennedy for Secretary of Health and Human Services.
Yes.
He
Yes.
oversees public health, welfare programs, health
Mm-hmm.
research, including things like CDC, FDA.
Yes.
I think some parts of it is the library, the other ones with the education for the library. All these different things that we see that we are barely now getting. Okay, and I use barely loosely. We are
Mm-hmm.
barely now getting in the in our many of our marginalized communities of resources. The indigenous communities are still not just getting crap. Okay, let's just be honest. And Kennedy, obviously, we know he doesn't believe in any of the
Vaccine.
vaccines. He has no experience on health. I don't even think this man has a CPR. I mean, first aid training. I mean, and his claim to fame is about leaving animals in Central Park and all these other things. And just because your last name is Kennedy does not mean you are perfectly qualified for anything. That name only gets you so far, but people are doing it. So it's a very sad thing. Um, I also want to acknowledge, before I go further, I want to acknowledge Miss Shy Love, who joins us normally. Thank you very much for commenting, Queen. Sorry I missed your post. She just tuned in just in time. And like she said, the draft will be a disaster. And I do believe it will be a disaster. But
Yes.
Department of Health, and we've all fight with different health things, and also Medicaid services, SNAP benefits, all
Mm-hmm.
these other things are now soon to be cut. There are people who are working, struggling, barely getting 12, 13, $15 an hour, struggling to even qualify. And you're talking about, they already did major cuts. We're looking at $80 a month, some cases $50 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know, no matter how well you budget, that's just a hard way to go as the cost of food. Even before food costs went up with COVID and what have you, it's just bad.
I'm a
I'm thinking
cancer
about this.
survivor, so I really fear this man coming under this position because of his lack of or not knowing. I know a lot of people here or they are skeptical about vaccines. Um, but I have to say that being a cancer survivor, not once but twice, um, I've had to utilize those vaccines. Um, and for someone who doesn't really know the public health sector, you're in here because of your last name. This is a scary situation for me. Also, working in social services, my background with working with people, um, this is going to do major harm. And as the Queen said earlier, um, his his him coming in thinking that he's going to hurt us, he's really going to hurt them because honestly, poverty. If you look at poverty, there are more poor white people than there are poor black people. But there's no difference at this point in this day. And either you're rich or you're poor. There's not a middle class to at this day and age. You know, either you have or you have not. And it's getting ready to be a whole lot of have-nots. And it's just gonna. This right here is very, very, very frustrating for me because um, the people I work with, I've seen people who have been denied for food benefits or Medicaid for $10, $15 because that's how much they made over the cusp, the limit. And so this is just frustrating for me on a personal level and a professional level. I'll say that.
Understand. Yeah, and social
So,
services is going to hurt
Mr.
with social services and a lot of things. Go ahead, Miss Silk.
Yeah, like the Queen said, I think to put this thing into perspective, because we talk about back in the day, right? But let's talk about our seniors. We're not that far removed when our seniors was eating cat and dog food because that was the only thing that they could afford after rent and social, and things of nature. And now we're going right back to that type of time. And people do not think they think that everyone that got up in their golden years are retired and you know caravanning to Florida on the beach and stuff, and that's not the case. Some of these people are just holding on by a shoestring. Um, the choice between whether or not they go to a doctor or eat or keep a roof over their head. And so I think that that is something to think about. And it's funny because as the Queen was talking, all I kept hearing in my head. So Petey Pablo has a song that said it's about to happen, but y'all wouldn't listen to me. It played in drumline. Okay. And he kept saying, I tried to tell y'all, but y'all wouldn't listen to me. Okay. And that's all I keep hearing because it would be different if it was just the four of us, right, sounding the alarm. But there's a whole bunch of us that was sounding an alarm. And you mean to tell me that you didn't have one person that you respected enough to listen to hear what they were saying, to investigate, to see? So now it's like so funny. Donald Trump said that he didn't know anything about Project 25 and he didn't have anything to do with it, right? And now the first five picks for his cabinet all have not parts, chapters. They wrote chapters in this 897-page document, right? And right before we came on, maybe like about an hour before showtime, right? MSN leaked that Kennedy had a tape. His mic was hot, and he said that Trump supporters are nothing but blundering idiots. Okay, or whatever. They caught him saying this live or whatever, but now you're going to be appointed to his cabinet. This thing right here is a shit show. Okay, get your popcorn. Like I'm with Anica. I'm gonna take care of me and mines or whatever. We're gonna do what we can. The one thing that we are is a resilient people. We've been down some of these roads and stuff before. But I think the funny thing is for all the white folks and all of the good Negroes that think that they've arrived, that this thing is not going to affect them, the same people you meet going up, you meet coming back down.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, you can't get a drink of water from me. it is what it is. I hope you prepared. I hope you know I'm trying to prepare my family to do things. I would suggest that people, if you haven't got your passport, you need to go get it as quickly as possible. There's some things financial wise, Mr. LP, we need to share because this thing is going to get really, really, really bad. And if you're caught slipping, it's not going to be good for you.
We're going to go, that's going to be the next section of the comments and things like that. We're going to definitely go over that. Ms. Walston.
Um, so Robert F. Kennedy, so he hits different than my feelings towards everybody else. Um, One, because I have a 75-year-old father that I take care of, who worked his behind off since I can remember as a little girl for my mother and my three sisters, and then all of his grandchildren. Um, because he's a vet, God, hopefully, he's going to keep his, Medicare and his insurance. But the thought that somebody else's father or grandfather might not get the same liberties, I'm going to speak really fast because it makes me emotional. Just like the Queen was sharing about her cancer, it is disheartening as young women, especially young Black women who are already the most underserved individuals when it comes to healthcare, to even continue to put our lives in danger even worse. That bothers me. At 40 years old, I found that I had a tumor in my intestines. And at 40, the only thing I had was Obamacare. And had I not had Obamacare, also the Affordable Care Act that idiots don't know, I don't know. And so to sit and prepare and have my kids sit down and my life insurance policies and talking to my parents about that, that was possible when I was 40. Mm-hmm. And to almost be 50 and know that's not possible, no, it's beyond scary. It makes me angry. Mm-hmm. I also almost want to be enraged because I have kids, two kids that are in college that get health benefits, and they're supposed to get those health benefits till they're 26, and you're putting that in jeopardy. I have a child who has asthma, two children that have asthma. I don't know what to say about Robert F. Kennedy that would not probably get me banned out of the United States of America, but it's scary. And we're talking about food. We're talking about basic civil liberties that people should have. And you're telling me that you want somebody to make those decisions for us that don't care about us. I don't know. I just know it's beyond disheartening. It's scary. Mm-hmm. And yes, we need to stick together. And no, I'm not going to turn my eye towards those who I can help. But I also work in mental health for people that depend on Medicaid, people who don't know how to manage symptoms of a real diagnosis. I'm not talking about pretending. The crazy uncle that we used to talk about when we were kids and we didn't know, that did not have services, that didn't understand symptomology and symptom management. We have those services through mental health right now. And having somebody like that is a danger, not only to this community, but for the people that need to be attended to in these inpatient and outpatient places. This is Robert F. Kennedy is not only a smack in the face, he's a spit in the face, he's a stomp on the chest. It's disgusting.
It is very disgusting to see these services, and that's the thing. And this is why I'm glad that, I know it's not necessarily the most comfortable topics, but I'm glad that we're having this conversation regarding these positions, because people are just unaware of what's going on and what these positions, and we're doing a deep dive. And I'm very grateful for those who are listening and the queens that's on this podcast, because you see it from, we're diving in a deep dive of what happens more than just the surface level of every single thing that goes on, from your medications to your health. And oh, that's just, they were always that way, there's something wrong, and things have gotten worse. How many more lives could have been saved if we addressed mental health? Obviously is a problem, because we've excused, we made excuses to allow this person to be in office, and we see some things going from there. I'm going to shift gears on so we don't drag on to shift gears a little bit. I want to talk about something that's been very hard on my head subject, and we've talked about this in various different forms in previous shows and even before the election and years past. But now we're in the thick of it. We have to do certain things to prepare ourselves as our communities and marginalized communities to get better. Now, as I've posted some of these things throughout the years, we've gotten all the complaints. Don't tell me what to do. Don't do this. Don't do that. Whatever. And I know we're not going to get into that aspect of it, but what we need to get into is things that we need to prepare um, in a whole different groups of things. I have about 25 different things. We're not going to be able to get to them all, but I'm going to break it down into, and I'm going to post them here in the comment and so everybody can see. The first and foremost is, and some of it may not see as simple as important, but as we go throughout this next 4 years and just later in life, just as a personal protection, B is your right. C is just the right thing to do spiritually and socially and to protect your family and your legacy and your assets. This is important. The first and foremost thing, I'm going to go off of them and I'm going to let y'all respond. Personal preparedness, such as ensure your driver's license are valid and updated. We've got some states requiring the real ID so you can travel locally just to get on the buses, your trains, planes, what have you. And many people do not even know where their birth certificates are. So some people don't even have their social security card. Oh, I just used this, that, and the other. You need to have all this together. And you have passports and organizing things. It's just protecting your family. The skill set certifications. Many people know how to fix this, get this, whatever, but don't have your certifications, don't have your paperwork and license. And I've been screaming this to the top of the hills that get it together because is going to hit, such as when COVID happened. Many people that provided so many of these trades and other skills, working on homes, whatever, many people of color lost out on benefits because they didn't have their paperwork and staying together. So pursue your certifications, get training in all your current skills, explore new certifications, especially things in high demand. And look, I'm a very big person on technology and a very big person on trade, but you need to learn how to use trade with your technology. There's still people that, you need to learn how to use convert to metric. Okay, you can have all the trades and skills you want to build a house, but if you can't measure in things, it's just get it straight, especially in healthcare and trade and in trades. Financial planning. We need to start building emergency funds, create a budget to reduce debt and unnecessary spending, and invest in your community financial literacy programs. That's going to help, especially look out for the funds of your old elderly who don't want to look. They can barely balance a checkbook, but they just, there's still people who have the mindset, I'm just going to keep my money underneath the mattress.
How
Your
can you
health record.
save though, Steve? How can you save? What can you save?
Say that one more time.
How can you save anything when everything is so expensive? Like, how can you save anything at this point in time?
I do. There is the theory that you can't budget out of debt. Don't get me wrong, but there's also things that you can not put yourself in worse situations.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to be real. I'm going to finish this last part, and I'm going to come back to you and read the comments and address that. Attain have our health records. Many people do not know your family records. Don't sign up and have copy. If you are on my chart or whatever chart in your organizations, download, have copies of those records. Don't just depend on the fact that you can get online because your phone may go down. You may be somewhere sick, whatever. Have these records available. Let your family members know that what medicines you're taking. You fall out, they're giving you something in the ER or the ambulance, and you may be allergic to ketamine, some other steroids, whatever. Know your family history, and you got to advocate for your damn selves. I'm so sorry to say that, but I'm so sick and tired of y'all that don't want to sit there, whatever, going into you don't even know the name of your surgeries or the procedures you're getting for checks. Stop that crap. That is the stupidest thing in the world, and I mean it. Physical fitness, develop your fitness, eat your foods and things, and legal preparedness. Have your power of attorney, your wills, advance directives, understand your legal rights, voting rights, and civil liberties. Those are the type of the things that we need to do. And I'm going to post this on the Enliven Global Media page. But to answer your question, ma'am, for some, it may not be. Some are doing the right things. Don't get me wrong. And when I say this, it's not necessarily we're not criticizing anybody. We know if it doesn't apply to you, that's fine. Okay. There's some people who get upset and say, "Oh, it don't apply to me. I don't do whatever." But that's just not the case. I'm going to answer your question. Shiloh said, "Have y'all looked into Mr. Kennedy's stances on anything other than vaccines, food, ingredients? What have y'all read?" Yes. Besides being discussing, he has said he's cutting services. Yes, ma'am, he did. Anything specific besides the stance on vaccines? Great ideas. Don't increase your debt. Hell yeah, you have to advocate for yourself and do on your own research. Yes, ma'am. So yeah, there's a whole list of things that Kennedy is trying to do, and all of it stems with Project 2025, and more. But to answer your question regarding budgeting, for example, you may just have to deal with local TV and just the internet. Look into your programs that just have, okay, your $25 for your internet service or $30 of the internet service. There's a lot of state and local programs that's having that with different cable systems. I much I can't stand Comcast. At least you're doing something better with offering the $30 internet service and things like that. That's much better, cheaper than your phone bill. So there's that. You may need to look into prepaid phone services. Okay, we don't necessarily all have to have the latest and greatest cell phones. This and that. If you can make a call, check your email, you're good enough. Okay. Um, Find out what your children's eating at school. If you have the school lunches or whatever, advocate. Talk to the churches. Screw this. I don't want this everybody else business crap. Talk to your church local services. Talk to your local women's shelter, your men's group. They may have some other things going on. Us men need to shut up and stop with this pride crap. Women need to stop putting down men for pride about asking for help or needing help or explaining that they crying or they hurting because they're trying. There are a lot of good men out there. The CDC, it should not have taken 45, 47 years of this myth of the black men missing from homes, not being there for children or whatever. And then we had to wait for the damn Princeton, CDC, and some other group to say, no, black men been there forever and a day. But we had TVs, movies, everything else to talk about it and things, and we to support. Why? Because we believe the lies in it for our health and security in our budgeting. We need to your transportation. You may have to get up early and take the bus. Okay, for in some situations, depending. I'm not, of course, if you got kids and daycare, whatever, we get all of that. But we're talking about for those who can minimize your spending. There are some systems that are paying for people still to get their thing, transportation. Here in Richmond, you can still ride the bus for free. There's just a variety of different things. You may not need to go on that trip, family trip, and everything else. You could maybe stay. I don't understand how we saved money to go on trips, but you still don't even know anything about the museums and things what's locally up and down the street from you. It's a shame that we're here in Virginia, Maryland. Like there's the states that's around DC and all these historical museums and things that we have. There are people who've been to other places around the world, and you've seen inside a casino more than you've seen in your local rentings and gambling studios and your machines, skill machines at your corner store. They've seen that more than your local museum or your local library. That's a shame. There's a lot of things that we could do. Look into your resources in terms of the sales ad in your paper. You got these cell phones, download the apps that for your grocery stores and local community foods and look at the sales and the specials and order and do things like that. Everything don't need to be ordered in terms of like your meals or whatever. We know sometimes it's cheaper. McDonald's is not cheap anymore. Okay, people, let's just stop it. I'm not that I'm advocating everybody eat at McDonald's, but I'm just saying stop with the excuses. Now, salads and eating healthy, I know is high, but we just got to learn to build together. And we need to. There's the angel food programs throughout the country that people are not utilizing. There are these churches and groups that's getting food, and people are not coming to them because they don't want to be seen. Some people are so scared in the nicer areas of towns. An example, short pump, where people are starving, but they don't want to sit there and be seen to go to the east and south side to ask for food. Just the way it is. So that's what goes on. Silk, I want to start off with you about the things that we talked about that I outlined on preparedness. What are your thoughts?
I think that's good, but I also think that this is the perfect opportunity for us to start growing our own and doing our own. I know that we even picked a part of our yard that we said that we're going to plant our own vegetables and things and stuff and have homegrown. I mean, one of the things that Anika and a couple of girlfriends and us talked about is we put too much trust in people um cooking our food and going to restaurants and things of that nature. And again, this war has showed us who they are, and we trust people that much to entrust them. We can't see what's going on behind closed doors. Also, I encourage people to ask questions and document. I told everyone here that way when this election first started underway, I started making notes of who was Trump supporters and for what businesses was supporting or whatever and stuff, because most people entrust, like, people will let someone come in their hospital room with a needle or some medicine and go, here, take this, and they don't even ask what it is. They just automatically assume because they're in the hospital, the people know. And I mean, there's times that I've been in the hospital and I've asked what's this, and I'm like, oh, that's for so you don't get blood clots. And I was like, I don't need that. I'm walking. I don't You give that to people who are bedridden. I'm walking around the hospital. What do I need that for? And it's like, oh, it's a precautionary. Okay, okay, well, you could sign here, you could pass. Okay, pass. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't even know their rights as patients, and things of that nature. So I think that that's one of the things that we need to start
Mm-mm. Did I lose you?
Can you hear me? I said one of
Okay,
the
yeah,
things
you
that
yeah, good.
aggravates me is knowing where your paperwork is. A lot of people don't even know where their birth certificates are, where their social security, even those that's older. My mom is 83, but we made sure to get her an updated birth certificate and have it, locked up and put up. I mean, when my mother's birth certificate only had a footprint, you know what I'm saying, on it and
Hmm.
stuff. So know where your important paperwork in your documentation is, because that's all going to be important, because when we don't control things, and these are things that's controlled by other people, this is the easier way to slow us down from accomplishing something, is by putting in a whole bunch of red tape where it becomes difficult for us to access these things and to be able to go. And the last thing that I'm going to say is, to the queen's point, in knowing how to save, you got to know the difference between a want and a need. That's the problem with most people. Most people go by their wants and what they actually need. Okay. And so I was guilty of that. And so I had to start writing down, do I actually need this, or do I just want it? Okay. Because some of the things, I think about it, our ancestors survived off of less than what we have right now. So if they can make it, surely that, we can, and stuff like that. I mean, this modern generation, we talk about this, um, not knowing how to wash clothes if they don't use the washing machine. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing that to cut back on electricity, read your bills or whatever and stuff, because all of these utility companies, they're monopolies. I've caught Dominion Power several times trying to charge me and overcharge me for things and stuff. And it wasn't just too recently that your bill would say one thing, but the total would say something else. And most people pay off of the total. They don't look at their whole bill and stuff. And so Virginia Power had got crafty when everybody thought that they were waiving all of these fees to make up that money. They were just misprinting bills where the total said one thing, but the actual bill was something else. Little things like
That's when
that
they
make
were just to add on. Sorry to jump in. That was when they were adding in talking about fuel transfer electric. So like, how
Exactly.
are we transporting? How are you're not carrying liquid, anything else? How are you transporting
Exactly.
um electric service and things like that? It just, so they added that bill on to the things, what have you. And then also some of the things that they said that they are charging, they were already getting money for. See, Dominion Energy kept screaming they lost money. No, the government paid all these ton of money to all the electric companies to say, hey, pay white people's bill. Okay. And they still was trying to get more money. So they're rich as hell because of it. And you had to advocate. This amount of money was given to you for to pay the bill. Why this not was applied to my bill? And you had to advocate for that, and people just not want to take the time out to call and what have you and go from there. Miss Walston, we've talked about this several heavily a few weeks ago and things. Do you want to add to this, Queen?
Well, my rule is don't spend any money. Okay, so you have basic bills. You have basic bills. Stay out of your convenience stores. That one soda or that one water you want, go get a case of water, put it in the house, or buy a filter for your water. Uh, Black Friday's coming up. You know what would be really nice if we stay our black behinds out of the stores. You know, so if we want to just be fair, Christmas, show some love, sit around, cook some dinner, talk to your family, make something together. Like, people don't want to do that. See, if you really want to save some money, stop giving these people your money. Okay. You want a list of people that supported Trump? Don't go to Publix. Don't go to Big Lots. Don't go to Walmart. You want those lists? Stop spending. If you have to spend your money in those places, spend what you need. I was told by this beautiful woman, go get 3 large flower pots and start making your own things. Eat from the root, the ground, and the tree. Okay. Back in the day, they didn't eat meat until Friday. Sacrifice. You want something, give up something. If no, and don't look for somebody to give it to you. Operate differently. Get some discipline. Stop being wound up by everybody and find a reason within yourself to be better. Be a change. Okay? You can save whatever you need. You're not going to go without anything you're supposed to have. Stop living in this place where materials are more important than your own livelihood and your family. My family is more important. So guess what? I'm not going to the store. I'm cooking every night. And what I don't have, I'm going to make, because I come from a family that you can make something out of nothing. That's another skill a Black woman has. Okay. That's another skill that us queens have. Okay. We are resilient. So
Say
you
that.
can give up what they have and use what you got. Eat at the table with your family. Do those things. Make your children
Amen.
then stop thinking that they can have everything and tell them we ain't got nothing, we got each other. Say no. That's how you save money. Say no. Pay your
Let
bills.
me let me let me add something to that, and I want people to listen to the sound of my voice, and I'm going to be serious about this. And if you don't like it, don't give a damn. Um, Pay attention to the stores. One of the biggest things I've always said, in your lower income areas where you got, let's say, a Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, whatever the grocery store may be, or your drugstore from like your Walmart, Publix, whatever, pay attention to the fact of what's available. And then you go to the nicest areas of town that it's not. I'll tell my personal story. I still use the short pump in the west end of town because the prices of my medicine is cheaper overall. And even though I may get my medicine from a Medicaid aspect and things, look at look at what they're charging. Look at the bill, even though if it may say zero or a certain amount or whatever it may be for you. Look at what it always shows, the pricing and what the medicine costs. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, pay attention to what that medicine may cost if you get it from a lower income side of town for somebody else who may be getting the same dosage and same amount. And pay attention to what is being charged to Medicaid. Pay attention to or better yet, look at the shelf. You may need some type of headache medicine. You see 30 different brands, but at this store, you only see 5 or a limited amount of what they may have. Look at what's being presented in maybe a Walmart in this side of town, what's up front versus another. They just now got caught not too long ago, if you paid attention, that they obviously making sure the grocery stores and things like that. But let's look at where it's positioned. Some stores is on the left and some is on the right. But look where the road is. Pay attention to all of this stuff and how it is and what is geared for the community and things, because they see how you are, what you are spending in the community. That's what's going to be up front in the store. We dictate what's going on. We use not I'll use 9 Mile Road for those who may be not listening, not familiar. 9 Mile Road Walmart was the recent one. It's built in a heavily more 50%, but more so 60% African American, Black, Latino area. But look at how that store is being treated and run, and security and everything else. And the thing is, we allowed it because we don't conduct ourselves crazy. And more importantly, what we're spending in that store. Food is not, they have food, but not enough because, and they're always out of supplies because we're buying more of the junk of everything else. And they push that up in that area. Why is certain sale ads for food and other things is pushed more in certain areas for other things? Because we could dictate it with our pockets and our mindset. We have to adjust our mindset and how we go about things, and then we can start demanding more and still circumvent some of these things that's going on out there. Yes, there's some things that's out of our control, some things, but a lot of things that really is in our control. It's just how we choose to spend our money and pay attention of our focus. The child does not have to have Nike socks. The same fat pack from Family Dollar be just as good. Let's just keep it real and things. I'm
Thing
gonna
that
go
I
over.
would say
Sorry,
before
go
you,
ahead.
I think one of the things that I wanted to add to that, a key piece, especially since you mentioned the children, is that realistically, I have to go with the mindset that my parents would with me, that the schools are not there to teach your children. The schools are there to reinforce what your children should be learning at home. And given the fact that they're already stripping the education system of everything, we need to start educating our children at home. Our children should not be dependent on their version of history. Okay, we should be teaching a history lesson at home. Our children need to know our heroes, both sung and unsung, and who they are. That there were more Black people that walked this earth than Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, and maybe occasionally Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X. And so that's really important. And so in as much as to take the time, and it's okay even if you don't know, take the time to get to know, because we don't want to get to the point they've already tried to strip every single thing. If you don't know these things now and you don't know where to go get the information, eventually you won't know, and you won't be able to pass those rich jewels on to your children and your grandchildren. I think the craziest thing is, for me, being down here in Richmond, Virginia, and teaching natives about their history that's right here in their city, and they didn't know, or they didn't. And I'm like, this is right here. This is where you were born and raised. I should not come from somewhere else and know more about your history here and what this stands for than you do.
Mhm. That's
That
true.
that's true. That's one of the bigger things that we have to stop. And things is going on. Before we end the show, I'm going to hit up three more different things that are very important. Emergency preparedness. Develop an emergency disaster plan. We did a big good show about this from the hurricanes. A disaster plan, emergency kit. Your children need to know your name, not mama or cousin and Pookie or whatever. We need to know their names and last names, stuff like people like, oh, I didn't know my mama's name until I was 16. You know, that dumb stuff where all these old school things got to stop. If you're something like, if you're one thing we don't talk about, if you see the door open and you go home, don't go in there. Go
Right.
to the neighbor or things or what have you. Have teach them life savings and skills and things of what's going on. Stop bringing home sidebar. Stop bringing home men who just immediately out of jail and prison and with your kids, and they were already in jail for murder or killing and things like that. And then you want to cry that your child is hurt or murdered. Stop it. You know, understand the evacuation routes, your shelter locations, or if it's hot, what's going on for your elderly. If it's cold, what's going on. They're used to the old school. We just barely turn on the oven and you just dare cold, but that can exacerbate cancer, other health issues, whatever. Let's make sure emergency preparedness is there. Food security. We talked about gardening, food preservation, parting. I just posted a video not too long ago from a friend Natalie Hodge about foodscaping, where they planting. We're used to it from those up north. We had plants and tomatoes on the balconies and things. You see it a lot in Hispanic and Black cultures all the time. Build community gardens and food accessible. Here in Richmond, we've tried several times building community gardens, and we allow people to destroy them. Stop that. We need to do better. Alternative energy sources. Here's a key thing: invest in generators and solar power for homes. If you have a house, okay, have the connections for your home in the back for generators and portable power stations. You can spend $150, save whatever if you have the means, and have the generator and can power your home for several hours, or at least your emergency. It plugs into your power supplies of your home in emergency situations. So then if power's out, let's say it snows and we're out of power for a week, at least for 5 or 6 days, you can power your stove or emergency little things and stuff like that to take care of for your home. Even your in some cases your HVAC system. You may just need it during the daytime, cover up at night, turn it on for a little bit, protect your children. We used to do the things, moving the mattress in the living rooms and turn it on in the ovens. You found ways. Boil that pot of hot water to add some moisture in your room so you're better breathing and you don't have asthma attacks, COPD, whatever. Advocate for community-wide energy wellness and resilience programs. What are programs? Also, if you know you're in an area and you're struggling financially, you don't wait till it's cold like now in November, December, and you want to apply for fuel services or electric supportive services. That stuff is done in August and September in most communities. Stay on top of all of that. Log into your and every now by law in every state or whatever your energy company is, you have to do your ability to log in and see what your wattage and usage is. Okay, you can even get a text updates in some in most places what's going on, how much the utility is being used. Some say that's a little bit too much. I don't need all this, that, and the other. It's more to it than just going to the back of the house and see how fast the meter's running. Everything is digital now, so you don't even have that now in some places. Let's just do a little bit better for those three things. I'll start with you, Miss Anica Walston, who has all these things in her house already. What are your thoughts?
No, I absolutely agree with that. Like, think people do need to, if you have the ability to, and they have some programs. I know, especially for elderly people right now, where like solar panels. If they are able to, if you're able to get solar panels on the house or whatever, especially if they are vet, I would say go ahead and look online for the VA benefits because they do offer benefits to vets that they don't know. I've been going through this list to help my father since my mother passed away. So they have all these different things. You just have to look for them and sign up for them. For families, there is 211 in case of there's a crisis, you can call 988. Always reach out to your community service boards, RBHA, District 19. Um, and also be mindful that some of these places like food banks and donation centers, like instead of donating to the Goodwill, I tell people all the time, all the Goodwill does is take your donations, clean them up, and then charge people. That is not a donation, okay? There are other places like churches should be giving away. Hold your churches accountable. If they can ask for 10, 15 offerings, they should be able to take care of everybody in that congregation. Everything is not a building fund. You need to hold the people in your community that say that they're supporting you accountable. I work in mental health. I don't go out and just say I'm going to do something for a day. I stick with my clients until I get them stepped down into another service. We need to learn to stick together during the week. Like if you have families, sisters, cousins, like, okay, so once a week, somebody pick who's going to cook dinner. Eat your leftovers, clean out your refrigerator. Okay. There's some simple things. Think about all the food that we waste. Okay.
We're worse than, and this country wastes billions of like literally millions of tons of food every week. I think the stat was that it?
Mhm.
Yeah. Turn your lights off. Unplug stuff. If you're in a house, I'm in the house, my kids are gone. Guess what? I unplug everything. They be like, "Oh, mom, you're just being frugal." No, I'm not spending any money. Okay. I unplug stuff. There's no energy source.
You get
Keep
that
your
surge
stuff on.
protector that shuts off the power and things like
Yeah,
that. If it's not using it, it shuts it off.
exactly. Turn your TVs off. Okay. I know I love to go to bed to TV, but guess what? Use your cell phone. It doesn't matter. There are just ways that we're spoiled. We're spoiled and privileged, but have no privileges, and we're not understanding that at all. You have to take a stance on what it is that you're going to need. Treat it like we're already in the thick, like we're already in the trenches. Okay, like Tracy was talking about, people don't know how to wash clothes. People don't know how to dry clothes. People don't know how to wash dishes. People don't know how to do something unless there's technology attached. Turn the lights off on your kids. Make them not have nothing. Give them a day of their own natural disaster and see how they survive. Take a chance. Seriously, don't be scared of them. My children, I am absolutely, I will absolutely go crazy. After that election, it was, we shutting this down. You can't have this. No, you're not eating McDonald's. Like, mom, what? I don't want to hear it because you need me. That's one thing I do know. You need me. And so you're going to follow Big Mama through all of this until I say we're done. And that's
You're
what's going
not
to happen.
big. You're not your mama. You're not big.
But either way, I'm the mama. And in my house, we going to do stuff because guess what? That's how we have survived. And then
Yes,
from
ma'am.
my boys and my girls, you're going to learn from me. So that when I send you out here, you can do the same thing I did. You can duplicate this. We need to be better examples in our homes first before we start running out into these communities. Do it in your house.
Show over. Drop the mic. Kmonta.
The piggyback on what you just said, Anika, is that it's going to be hard to do. You know why? Because this generation now, they didn't get it. They didn't have a big mama. They didn't really have a mama to teach them and to support them and to motivate them and to encourage them. And so our babies now, they're in this microwave society where they're not learning and they're not thriving, and they don't know any better than what they're seeing. Um, it's a shame that you would rather pick up an arcade game than pick up a book. I remember growing up, I used to love reading books. I used to be excited when the book fair came and had all my little money from doing my chores together for my mom to match if she could for me to buy books. It's just where we are in society now. And so all of that uh, that has been taken from us in regards to putting those powers that be in place where they can pick up the phone and call 911 so CPS can come in your home. Um, where they're able to say, because you can't afford to pay rent, so you have to go through Section 8 or low income housing for them to say, well, no, he can't live here because the father of the child, because that'll take you over your income bracket. It's where this generation that we have that's supposed to be our future leaders didn't get what we got. And so that strength that you have, I'm gonna call you Big Mama, because you sound like a big mama, and I could hear it in you, whether you big or small. You got a big mama spirit, and that's what I need these women out here to understand. We got to get back to loving our children and disciplining our children, and just picking them up, just shake the hell out of them, and just be like, look, this is what it is. No, I didn't have, I didn't pick cotton like my mama did. I didn't do certain things, but I understand that picking cotton is just right around the corner. Okay. And I am, my fingers are very sensitive. Okay. So, and my skin burns in the sun. Okay. So I'm just saying, I need people to understand that this is not a game. This is not a game. If there is something that we can do to alleviate him from walking up those steps and into that White House, then we need to do it. We really need to do it. And we need to figure it out. And we need to figure it out really, really fast, because this is not a game. And we can sit here and say, I'm going to continue to live the way that I live. I'm going to continue to do what I do. But guess what? When they start cutting and chopping, how are we going to do that? Don't forget who is the head. And everybody has a different belief system, but please get on your knees and go to your higher power and pray. Pray. Pray and do something. What John Lewis said, good trouble. Well, let's get in some good trouble, because I need some good trouble happening right about now. Really, I do. I need some good trouble happening.
I need people to be honest. I really, like, seriously, like he doesn't need to get in the office, but I know that they know how to not put him in the office. I'm not talking about violence. And that's the problem that I have. Mm-hmm. See, the people that know how to not have him put in office, I'm having a problem with them. I'm having a problem with the fact that we currently have a president sitting now who has the ability. Okay. So if Trump has the ability to do all the foolishness he did, you think Biden don't have the ability? He got some type of ability. He got people around him. He got sneaky snakes around him too. He has slithered also. Let's be fair about this. So let's not act like he has to get there.
Right.
He's got there because somebody wants him there. So let's not pretend like all these people on the other side of, oh my God, woe is me. Y'all know damn well what's going on. He ain't got to be there. There's a lot of people that you didn't want Martin Luther King to make it to the 70s. You didn't want Malcolm X to make it. They had ways to get these people gone. Okay. And no, I'm not talking about killing anybody. So please don't tell me that you can't get this 6'1", 300-pound, ugly ass orange man out of this place. You want him there so you can do your foolishness. You can put these people in these cabinet positions so you can go ahead and shake up this world and make it a monstrosity. Let's just tell the truth. Yep. Take care of your people.
It was very convenient that his no hush money court case was postponed.
Again.
Exactly.
Again. Well, they dropped it. Now
it's been dropped.
Yeah, because they wasn't Stephen Smith whatever, they dropping all they rolling back and now the charges because basically he's president. So the thing is, now that you're president, you can't go and do certain procedures and things like that.
Wait a minute.
That was the whole goal. That was the whole goal of him getting in office.
Wait, explain this to me. You just said they dropped the charges after
they're dropping. Yeah. They plan on dropping it. They starting to roll back all of this stuff. Yeah, I seen that today.
Okay, so you don't think that this ain't just one side? This ain't one-sided. You don't have to drop nothing. They were trying to still do stuff to like Obama after he was president. So this is a bunch of bullshit. Excuse my French.
Yeah,
that's what this is. If they've dropped charges in Jack Smith, this was all for a show. Then this is all their plan, and I mean all of them.
So let me give you the list of charges I have here. Luckily, so the RICO case in Georgia, 13 charges related to election fraud and interference, and case by founding realist, which is already in trouble as it was. He has January 6th case, 4 charges related to alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election that Jack Smith was handling. 40 counts related to alleged mishandling classified documents. All that's being dropped. The 34 counts related to business records led by Alvin Brigg. That's also going to get. That's also going to probably get dropped, and if not overturned, because of the fact that now that he's in, he won. Now that one may still help, but still hold, but still, you can be charged, but still in what have you, but they've been found guilty. But the governors can always go back, and most states go through a process and get it overturned. New York is also one of them that allows it.
I'm confused. That's a state charge. So you're telling me the governors are dropping the state charges? Because I understand the federal government, but the state is very different from the federal government. So why?
Yes, but they can still. Yeah, they still going back over Trump was not we did not need, put it this way, what I want to make people exclusively understand, we did not need the 34 felony charges to say that Trump is still bad thing. That's just an addition to all the other BS, from the housing to sexual charges to rape, everything else. This is just of recent, okay? But he's had all these other charges on his record and found guilty of. This is just another cup of issues. But yes, the governors are looking to drop this, and basically now that he's president, they just can't do too much anyway.
So what is the conversation for? So to explain to me. So basically, what you have said to me tonight is that having these conversations don't matter, and that we just need to do the best we can with what we got, and just not treat it like we on one of them ships. Okay.
No,
because I'm going to agree with Kanye this time, because slavery will not be a choice. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you.
No, that's okay. Here, that aspect, yes, but no. This conversation, all these conversations, we need to know, because if you don't, here's the problem. Not an issue for us, but because we do not, as a community, do not read. Okay, we don't know what's going on, and it happens every single time, and it's proof happening with this election. Okay, what's one of the main things they said for years? Don't teach us how to read, and then put it in a book. We won't know it. And damn it, is the truth every single time. We don't want to read. And what kills me, we have every single thing. If you don't want to read it, hell, they'll tell you. We got Cortana, Siri, Alexa, what's her name for Amazon? Alexis. We have Alexa, excuse me, and Google. We have all of that. You don't even have, before I used to say press a button. Now you don't even got to press the button. It still tells you everything.
What do you want them to read? What do you want them to read? Tell me what you want them to read. Tell
me. They want to take all of those books out of school.
Right. Because I got books in my house. Tell me what you want them to read. I hear you. So they are told, educated. Because see, people can go to a church, not ever read the Bible, and believe everything somebody tells them. What do you want people to read?
Right.
I just want to know.
True. But what I'm saying is to read in terms of how the government works. Some of the things that we know are facts, no matter what they want to sit there and say. Here is how the government.
Anica's point, Stephen, is that people just don't care. If it doesn't affect them personally, they just don't care. And so even with having like this show, which is very informative and fun, you find it's the people who need to be listening are not the ones that's listening. It's the people that pretty much either know or they had a general idea, and this is just confirmation of what they thought, or they wanted a deeper dive, a deeper understanding of what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that if we put this between the pages of Basketball Wives and Love and Hip Hop, then it would be, better.
If I put some old guns on and started screaming and hollering and cursing and showing my behind, maybe somebody would pay attention.
I was expecting one of y'all to start
distraction. They are paying attention to the distraction.
Yeah, I was expecting one of y'all to start twerking at some point in time. Y'all making this not hard for me.
No,
that's
can't do that. Mike can
twerk. I got sciatic nerve damage. I can't twerk. There's no twerk. I like this. We are easily distracted.
When I think of a black man or woman who had the audacity, and I'm going to say the word audacity, to vote for Trump, I think of that part in Boys in the Hood when the black police officer had the boys handcuffed and, just had his foot on their neck. I don't understand how you think because you live in a certain zip code or you didn't have to go through certain things in life. Not to say that your grandma or your great-grandmama didn't go through it, that you have the audacity to turn your nose up to other black people and say, well, it's not my problem. I think when we look at the grand scheme of things, We are our own worst enemy as a people.
Yeah.
We are our own worst enemy. Because if you're sitting there and telling me that you would rather a white man who took out a full page ad against five black innocent men to destroy their life, to be a slumlord, to steal, to lie and cheat, to do all of these things, and you can still be the president of the United States, sends a very strong signal to our kids. Even though we tell them you can be whatever you want to be, this is right, this is wrong. This right here is telling them they can do all kinds of wrong and still be the king of the hill.
Have
And
no
Yeah,
moral
and
compass.
it's
that's
no moral
that's yeah.
compass at all in this world anymore. And
This
it's
is
a
why I
scary feeling.
this is one of the reasons why I keep saying this for so long. Stop making excuses for rappers and entertainers. Well, they making money and this and that. It doesn't matter. Just because you make money and make popular, that doesn't mean it's right. And we
Right.
stop making excuses. Like I use a perfect example, and I know this gonna piss people off all the time. I am not a fan of Biggie, Tupac, whatever. I kept
Okay.
saying Biggie should be a great author for a book, and I kept saying Tupac was a better actor than a rapper. Do they have some good points? Yes, but I do believe in all the other stuff. You don't have to glamorize the stuff and everything else. I've always said that you can't sit there and say keep your head up, and then the next song calling every other B word, I'm gonna beat you in the backside and all these other things. You can't have it both ways. And but you excuse it. I recognize the talent, but you excuse poor behavior. You see DMX. I get the mental health. I get all the other things that's tragic. Oh, he went through this, this, this. It was still nothing tragic that you decided to have 15 children and however many women and still keep doing these things. Stop excusing poor behavior. At some point in time, you got to wake up. And I get it. Many of us don't have their fathers in their lives, for the mothers, whatever. I get all of this and the hurt and everything else. But at some point, we got to wake up and say, you know what? I get it. And some of us are still fighting whatever issues. Don't get me wrong. Work on yourself. Take the steps because of these things, because we got to recognize this, like you said, wake up. We are our own worst enemy. I keep saying we're not going to learn until we're back in chains. I mean, that's just what it seems like. Our black community is the hard-headed community, and it never should be. One of the biggest issues that we got to bring education back, as Ross Silk said, we have to bring education back to the forefront in our communities. There was a time, two big revolutions, I think, maybe three. I think one was in the 30s. One was in the early, maybe 65 to 70, about 65 to 75. You saw a big push, black lawyers, doctors, and things like that. And then I would say from maybe the Cosby Show on, maybe from 85, I would say 84, 85 to about 92. The Cosby Show, Different World, some other shows, you started seeing education. You start seeing everybody wearing the African colors, the medallion for Africa, the continent, all these other things that people recognize are inspiring. Um, I can't think of all the different groups, music groups. You saw these different things.
Public
Uh,
enemy.
but yeah, I get there a little bit later, but yes, I do get that and things like that. But it was just the aspect of we at least was putting the information out there.
But we can't tear down. I'm gonna say this: we can't tear rappers down to a degree, because if we're gonna go there, then we got to take it way back, and we're gonna have to take it back to Elvis Presley,
Oh,
and
I'm
and
not
and,
denying
and we're
that.
going and we
No,
got to take it we got to take it back, because he did the things that he did and glamorized his what he did, and basically rock and roll was created by black people, but
no,
was
well,
uh,
no.
but
No, I
I don't
hear
want
you.
to take
That
it off
wasn't
subject. I just don't want it to be where it's about
Look, and,
the
and
black.
let's be fair about this also. Let's talk about this, Stephen, real quick. Let's also look at the fact that we had entertainment and we had people who had talents, right?
Mhm.
But they couldn't get any money. The moment we were able to be ignorant and show ourselves to be
Mhm.
animalistic, not worthy of being treated as a person,
Right.
demeaning our own people, everybody's rich. You
Mhm.
don't think that's by design? I will give you money to make your people look worse. But when people were singing about pride and togetherness and discoing and learning how to dance, well, no money in that. People were stealing rights. You
See,
couldn't get your masters. But now,
you steal my
as long
thunder.
as I cuss out another chick and I'm arguing and we can get shot in the street and then I can go and have these parties and then you can do all this. Now I'm going to give you some money. Think about where our priorities are.
Well, this is where you're stealing my thunder. Okay, you jumped
I'm
ahead of me. This is where both of y'all. Yeah, this is where I'm going because this is where I'm going. When and I'm trying to give it a backstory so people can relate from different generations. From when I say the 30s, from the 65 to 75, and then maybe the late mid 80s to the early 90s. These were revolutionary times in terms of our music. I mean, we had great music all the time. Don't get me wrong, okay. But these were one of the more impactful times when we talked about from our Marvin Gaye, our James Brown, whatever, Black or Proud, was what's going on, everything. These were from the Black Renaissance period and what we did after Prohibition, or how Black businesses was growing back then, in the 30s. All these were these revolutionary times, and I'm saying this is because we need to have another revolution and stay with it. Okay, we took our foot, especially in the 80s. We took our foot off the neck, and we saw what happened, and we didn't learn then.
In the 80s?
Well, I'm talking about when civil rights came in 65, 67 and things, and 75 when we had the movement and we started doing things, but we still our people of color did not, in the 80s, we did not get out to vote. We did not stay involved.
Correct.
We saw what happened with the housing crisis, how it destroyed the housing crisis, and then we weren't allowed to come back. Over policing, then we get the records. You can't come back to housing. Over policing, lack of food, drugs, redlining, the housing, the redlining for things. Just using Richmond for example. This was this was the largest area in the country where people were getting houses, and then they started redlining. We started seeing more and more constructions of bigger cities. Let's use Charlotte for Charlotte, North Carolina was not Charlotte, North Carolina back in. It was just a small area, literally. Mm-hmm. But when they started building the roads through low-income areas and Black areas, like they did in New York and Richmond and everywhere else, then they started growing. We did not vote to take away the bills. We didn't get involved in census. We didn't do all these different things. So you're not there. You're not recognized. And until we started getting more and more education. So what I'm saying is that we need to have another Enlightenment revolution period and stay there in terms of our Black power, Latin power, all our marginal groups. We need to get our act together in our different various communities to do better and get involved, because there was a big push then to get, we had Jackson and Sharpton, running for office. You had all these other different people in the 70s. We had Lord Jesus, Lord forgive me, the lady that was running for president.
Shirley
Chisholm.
Thank you. Shirley Chisholm. Thank you. Sorry. Lord forgive me. Great movie. They just did. All these wonderful things that people were running that we did. We had these empowerments, and we do not. I'm not sitting here saying we need to have leaders to lead us. We already know the plans, okay? We already know what to do. We just have to do a better job of taking the stuff out there and having another period so we can go ahead and use the music, use our power. We should not have to use entertainment all the time, but we know what's out there. And use our power, and those who are not for us, working for us. I'm not expecting one plan to get to everywhere, because not everybody, Black or white, agreed with King and X. That's the choice. But it's still, we were doing what we were supposed to do. We had a single goal of upliftment. Now, under that title of uplifting, there's a bunch of different things. But we have to be organized and know what we want. Everybody stay in their lanes to get it together. If I'm living next to you two, for example, you're working here. My job as a king to sit there and how can I, hey, do you need some help? Let me give Kmonta. Then you need some help. Then I got Miss Walston's business. We need to circulate the services and the businesses to do the best we can. When you're full and overwhelmed, I need to go get somebody else. So until you get more client space, whatever the case may be, that's my responsibility. Okay. If I'm out of work or doing something else, my responsibility is to make sure I'm out there and doing what I can to help. If you can't help yourself, still do something to help others. And if you're helping others, your benefits and things will come to you. I'm a firm believer in that. And actually, it says in the Bible, even if it wasn't in the Bible, I believe in it. And we got to do our part. Miss Silk.
We spoke about Black people. We spoke about us, but guess
Mhm.
what? We, America is a melting pot, and a big thing that this election is getting ready to open up is the immigration, the deportation of people who have
Yes.
lived here and were born here, and this is getting ready to
They're
really
going to kick us
exert
out
a
anyway.
fiber. That, hey, look, we didn't
They're
ask
not
to come.
kicking
We
you
didn't
out.
ask to come over here. They brought us here.
Right, but
Okay?
they're not kicking any black people. They're kicking everybody. They're not gonna be able to kick out black. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. I
Yeah.
hear that, but they're not gonna be able to kick out black people because they still don't think black people are people. Okay, they think immigrants are more people than
Yeah.
black people are people.
Right.
You want to do
Well,
something? Let's take back this electoral college because that's how they got one because they counted us as what 0.3 of a person.
Right.
That's how you got your electoral college.
Right.
There are things like
I
let's
give you
talk
another
about
one.
that.
They didn't even count. Well, I'll give you another one. They didn't even count. They still don't even count indigenous. Back in the day, they hated indigenous people so badly they counted them as black and things because they didn't want to count the number of indigenous people that they shot and murdered. But
Let's
what?
talk
Look,
about the
as a
missing
guy,
votes. The votes that are still missing.
yes, and they still get it. And let me tell you something. As a guy that's like, okay, I was born and raised here in America, but as a guy that been jacked a few times where they trying to ship me off and arrested because they thought I'm illegal. And things like that. You know what? Like when they did the last one, major one. I won't say the last, but one of the ones they did it not too long ago with Asian Americans. Well, over 2/3 of them, 80% that they arrested were people who were born here, but they didn't care. They wanted to ship them out. And the same thing they tried to do with Latin America with the internment camps and all this other stuff and things, and how many people got sick, children died, and whatever else. Okay, you can say what you want, but still bombing people who had nothing to do with it. Whatever. And God knows what we did to the people in Malaysia and the Philippines and things like that. Come on. This is why they don't want the territories that we own that are citizens. But I still don't understand how we're taxing people, but they can't vote. This is why the 10 to 12 million throughout the territories as actual people are not allowed to vote because in the general election, because they don't want to sit there and be like, oh, we're going to get you and get and have that power, because of what they've done. It's just crazy. But we're up against our time.
Okay.
And God knows we can continue this. Well, Silk had to jump off. And thank you, Silk, for everything. Next week, we're probably we might have to take a week off, or we're going to see what we can do. We might pre-record. We might do a show on Wednesday. We'll figure it out and things like. It all depends on how much Miss Walston, how much money I
I'll
can
be
pay
gone
Miss
for
Walston.
2 weeks. My birthday is next week, and I'm going on vacation.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're on the 30th. Wait, what's your birthday?
The 27th. The 27th.
Happy birthday!
Thank you,
Happy
Miss
birthday!
Kmonta.
You look so good and things like that. But just because your birthday don't mean you get no privileges. You don't get to be on the show.
Oh no, honey, I'm taking my black privilege, and I'm gonna do what my black behind wants to do. Okay.
No, this is your black job.
No, this is my black job, and I'm going to take the black girl who rocks out of this country. That's what I'm fitting to do. And y'all worry about the cabinet members.
Well, whatever you do, you best have in their internet connection and things like that. I'm waving my hair I'm waving my neck, snapping my neck without the hair. I'll best be near internet connection and whatever hotel you be at.
If they don't, Steven, guess what? I'm covered. I'm gonna tell you again. I understand my goddess. I've been walking in my goddess all my life. I'm not worried about that, honey. I'm gonna be where I'm gonna need to be. I'm gonna be where I'm at. Okay.
Listen,
I'm gonna be okay.
When you get this link, you best show up. I just want to let you know there's gonna be trouble.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know.
Well, I appreciate you all for inviting me.
You work it out.
It's nice meeting you. It's nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too. I hope I can come again. So, yeah.
Miss Kmonta, first of all,
even if she can't be here next week, I'll step in and
Please,
for her
please.
if need be. I see me
Okay.
stepping up. I'm stepping up for my sister. You see how I just did that? See, sisters,
That's what
how
we
easy
do.
that
I
is.
see that. I
You
see
see
that.
how
It
easy
sounds
that
more like
is.
it sounds like excuses and things like that. But I see it. I see it. I got it. I got this. I got this. I already saw the mental communication between the two, which basically says you need to be on the show to keep Steven in line because I won't be here. I'm tired. I need a 2-week break. But
Yeah.
That's what
You
black
know,
that's
women do. That's what black women do.
that that that
that's
We
that
that
resilience.
yes,
See,
yes.
see, I have enough. Men have shut your mouth and have enough emotional intelligence to pay attention. Okay.
Look, they said ET come home. No, we was doing that before ET got dropped down from home. Okay, we've been
Thank,
doing that.
I
thank
understand.
you.
No,
But
well,
Oh,
thank you,
first of all,
Stephen.
before we get close off, thank you, Queen. First, to close off, before we do, I want to be respectful, Miss Kmonta. First of all, thank you so very on behalf of Royal Silk and I know Miss Walston and Miss Shiloh and everybody. We all appreciate you. Thank you for joining the show. You can send your check to me. I'll send you the email or the PayPal or Cash App ID. You can send your check to us, and I'll make sure we'll get it and things like that.
yes, sir.
Um, for that. For those who missed it, can you please, for those who want to reach out to you and also your current show and everything else, can you please give that information out?
All right. Well, again, my name is Kmonta. You can reach me on most of my social media platforms at ms.kmonte um, at gmail.com. That's my email address. Ms. Kmonte or the Kmonte Show on my social platforms. I forgot to also say I have a nonprofit organization. I don't even know how I just let that go over my head. Rich Man's Community. So you can go to Rich Minds, RICHMINDZ, N as in Nancy, PO.org. I do a lot of work in the community. So get at me, y'all. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. I'm at Crafty Crab on Saturdays. I do it all. So I'm like an onion. I have many layers and I can talk about anything. And
What's your
most of all,
email?
MZ
Mhm.
dot KMONTA at gmail.com.
Okay, so I'm gonna put that. I'm putting this in this thing.
Okay.
So all those things that she said that you don't remember and stuff like that for here, this is right here
Hit
and
me
things
up.
like that. So just also let you know she's a bail bondsman and a loan officer. Um,
A notary. I'm also a notary and a signing agent as well.
Okay, a notary, a signing agent, good to know, and things like
Mhm.
that. So we're gonna
Yeah,
be calling you for services and things like that, the legal representation, everything else. We try to, we this is the beauty of the show here. We have whatever you need. We got somebody. We try to make sure and
that's
things.
right.
Advertisers need to be getting with us because we try to make sure everybody's good here in the show. Miss Walston, can you please tell us for those who are in need of your services and the things that you do, can you please educate us again?
Right. Well, don't be in need until December the 12th. But I am a licensed mental health provider. My email address is anicawalston@gmail.com. I am taking on new clients because I do psychotherapy, but again, not until December the 12th. So don't post information, then I come back and I have a full mailbox of referrals. But I am here for family, marriage, relationship. I do work with children, but I prefer adults because children pull at your heartstrings. But I also I just work in the mental health community. So period. If you just have questions, you need somebody to talk to, I'm here. I'm here for my community. I love everybody and I'm going to support everybody, even those that don't support me, because that's how I was made. Okay. But I'm
Mhm.
here.
So is this right? Anica Walston at gmail.com?
Yes, even though you don't like to pronounce my name correctly, that is spelled right. Thanks.
Okay, hey, I do all right. So everybody, despite what she says, send an email and things. So when she comes back, she'll be ready to go. She needs all the client work. In fact, she said she was quite bored the other day this morning when I talked to her. So she's really looking forward to more clients and stuff. She's also doing client services at a discount. She does intakes
Right.
free. So we
Positive.
Did he just put you out there like that?
He
Yes, he
sure
did.
did. They will,
Oh,
yes.
it's
But
things
yeah.
like that. If you see,
But
if
but
anybody with
here's the
IO,
thing. If you need me, it don't even matter. Because if I'm supposed to help you, I am.
that's right.
her
There you go.
IOPs are ready to go and things like that. ISPs and everything else, she got it all.
There
Social
you go.
services, DMAS, make sure you give her a call. She's ready for you.
Well, we need to talk, Ms. Walston.
Yes, ma'am, Miss Kmonta. I would love to have chats. That will be wonderful.
Okay, I'm sending you my information now.
Yeah.
I'm putting the first email in the box.
Thank you. I wait for it.
And
Okay.
and
Stephen,
then
you're good for
just to let
something. You
everybody,
always hook me up with wonderful queens that I like to like. So thank you, Stephen. You are a vessel. God bless.
that's not a problem and things like that. Hey, I'll be happy because of you are family and I truly love y'all and things like that. I'm at the models. Usually I just give everybody 5%, but I'll give y'all 10 and I keep the 90. So that's be very good and things like that. We just go for that.
Oh my goodness.
God, you were so silly
And
tonight.
things,
But you all have a blessed
thank you.
holiday. And
Yes.
please don't spend any money next Friday. Feed
Please.
your family. Love your
You know,
family. Sit down and play some games.
Yeah.
Okay.
support your marginalized communities and your Black
Don't
businesses.
spend no money. Sit down and eat a dinner. Read the book. Open up
You
a book.
don't need another TV.
No,
No,
You don't
just
need
sit
another
no,
down.
TV.
I'm talking about our Black authors, our
Mhm.
the books, the things. If you need something, yes. If if you need food, find a local farmer, Black farmer, whatever you can do. Support your the it's even sad your Latin communities. You're not even supporting your local Latin markets that got food catered to you. You're not even supporting them. Stop it. Support your local small businesses for your foods, those emergency needs, school supplies, whatever. There are people and other resources. Your churches, if you want to get something, if you go to the churches and pick up food, give your donations to the people that are actually spending money in the community that helps circulate your market. That's what, when we say not spend your money, we're talking about the big businesses. You don't need to go to Best Buy for whatever or bad, just do what you can, okay,
Mhm.
to support
I
your
meant don't
community.
spend your money. That's what I meant. I meant go sit down somewhere and don't
Well,
spend some money. Go
I'm
in your
talking
house.
about, I'm talking about people who need food. I'm just talking about buying healthy
Feed
foods
your
and
neighbor.
looking.
Do some basic godly principles.
That's
I
Feed
what I
your
don't
just
want
neighbor.
to
said.
see not one Black
I
person
agree.
that went viral this year in Walmart. Okay. That's all. I don't want to see not one Black person go viral in Walmart over a TV.
But
Okay.
exactly. Make a pot of beans. See if the lady across the street needs some beans and some biscuits. Do something. Go
Please.
pick something.
I agree.
Get a sweet potato. I'm not for all this new stuff. Guess what my kids will be eating? What I made in that kitchen, and we gonna eat it together.
That part.
All right.
We don't need to make Golden Corral rich, okay, and things
No,
like that.
Oh my
And things
goodness.
like
I had
that.
such a good time.
Well, y'all two
all
ladies
right.
stay on. Two ladies stay here with me for a moment. But
Okay.
everybody, thank you
We
so
got
very
30
kindly.
seconds.
Okay, thank you very kindly. Jesus, Jesus, and they say men are fast.
Oh goodness.
I am terrible today. I'm gonna get on stage one of these days. I thank y'all so very kindly, and may y'all have a great and blessed day. See y'all next week. Bye bye. Hold on.